Grow your career with a Master of Agribusiness degree from Kansas State University. Using the latest technology in distance education, we strive to deliver a world-class degree to a global audience in the food, animal health, and agriculture industries. We are dedicated to ensuring flexibility throughout the program, offering completion from anywhere and a variety of course schedules to work on your time. We focus on having a direct connection to the current professional landscape with industry experienced instructors preparing coursework with immediate applicability. During the 2.5-year program, you will have the opportunity to network with your fellow classmates to build professional connections around the world. 3 start dates are offered at multiple campus locations. Learn more about the award-winning program and find out how to apply by contacting us today.
Congressman Ralph Abraham from Louisiana's 5th District, thank you for joining us.
Oh, glad to be here.
Well, for starters, can you tell us a little bit about your district and the kinds of agriculture in it?
Well, the 5th District of Louisiana is the largest row crop district in the nation. We grow more corn, soybeans than anybody else, so we're very proud of that. But that also lends to my role on the Agriculture Committee. Glad to be on it. Hopefully we can push the agenda for our farmers and ranchers that they need to be successful.
Now, you aren't just new to Congress, you're new to public service in general.
All the way. My previous occupation was a rural country doctor, and prior to that, I was a veterinarian for 10 years before I flipped over to the human side. So anything with 2 or 4 feet, we can treat. We can handle.
So what's that learning curve been like, trying to go from being a medical doctor to all of a sudden being a congressman?
It's pretty steep, but most Washington, as a rule, doesn't open up until 9 or 9:30. Now, being, again, the veterinarian, the country doctor, and we still actively farm on some of my property, we're used to getting up with the chickens. And so I'm here at the office at 7 o'clock about every morning. So from 7 to 9, I'm learning, reading, answering emails, taking care of phone calls, doing my homework, so to speak.
Now, as a former veterinarian and a current farmer, as you mentioned, how do those experiences help you in your service on the House Ag Committee?
They're invaluable. Whenever just about any subject comes up on the Agriculture Committee, I'm familiar with. We've actually lived the life, so we get it. And because we get it, we're able to add a whole lot to those committee meetings. Hopefully our input is listened to, which I know it is. We've got a great chairman with Mike Conway from Texas. And we can implement some good stuff.
Now, you kind of lucked out with both of your committee assignments. You mentioned that you're a farmer, so you have experience with agriculture, but also you're on the Veterans Affairs Committee and a former first lieutenant in the U.S. Army.
Right.
So, you kind of got lucky there.
Well, luck, probably had a little bit to do with it, but, we asked for both of those committee assignments when we got elected, and were granted. So we are, again, very thankful. I am chairman of the subcommittee of the Veterans Committee on Disability Assistance and Memorial Affairs. So honored to be on there and hopefully can serve well.
So what are some things that you hope to accomplish in your committee work on both of those committees?
Well, certainly on the veteran side, let's talk about that first. Right now, if a veteran files a claim, he or she has to wait over 3, sometimes 4 years to get an answer. Now, that answer may not be the right answer, maybe a no, but any answer at all is sometimes 4 years waiting just to do that. So that's a tragedy, morally and ethically. We've got to do better, certainly, for our veterans. On the agriculture front, we're looking to increase trade. As most of your farmers and ranchers know, the farming community in the nation supplies 16 million jobs. It's huge. We've got to have that part of our economy. To me, it's a matter of national security. I think the farming, the agriculture community is so important that we've got to do everything we can to shore it up, make sure they are successful, and make sure that they do good in their profession.
And whenever Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack gets the opportunity, he likes to mention that the rural America really is pulling their weight, especially when the military is concerned. And you've kind of got an opportunity to work at the intersection of that,
right.
Working with Veterans Affairs and agriculture.
Rural America is where it's at. We know that once we get out of these large cities like D.C., we're all rural Americans. And those are the people that I want protecting our country. Those are the people I want growing my food, again, because I know they'll do it right on both fronts.
And looking bigger and broader, rather than just the committees that you serve on, what do you see as some of the biggest issues that need to be tackled by the 114th Congress?
Well, let's talk about agriculture first. We've got to get regulation to a point off the backs of our farmers and ranchers. The Clean Waters Act is just craziness. We've got to get that where our farmers and ranchers can go out, and if they hit a puddle in their truck or car, they don't have to worry about it being regulated by the EPA. So deregulation for me is a huge issue. What better economist, conservationist, environmentalist is there than the farmer or rancher, he himself or herself? Nobody's going to protect their land. Nobody's going to protect their family better than the people that work on the farm. So they do get it. So let's leave them alone, let them do their job, and get on with business. As far as, again, the veterans are concerned, we've got to do a better job. We've got to take care of them. They have ensured our safety for generations and will continue to do so. We've got to take care of them. So as far as my priorities, those two are huge.
Now, you mentioned trade, and that's certainly a hot topic right now, but it impacts your district in a special way because a lot of that trade, a lot of the stuff that's going to port out of New Orleans has to travel by barge right next to your district. So how is trade especially important to your constituents?
Well, let's look at the big picture and then bring it down to the Louisiana level. Exports, agriculture exports are almost 11, maybe even 12% now of the total exports of this country. So they're a big, big part. Last year, 2014, agriculture imports were responsible for $152.5 billion. It's a big deal. Now, you're right. We've got the Mississippi River, we've got tributaries that feed it. So we've not only got the product, but we've got the means to move the product efficiently, effectively, and quickly down to New Orleans, get them on those super tankers, and to the rest of the world. So for us, it makes a big difference being in Louisiana.
All right, and let's shift gears here and talk a little bit about you personally. You mentioned that this is kind of your first go at it as far as public office is concerned. What was it that made you want to run for Congress?
My grandchildren. Diane, my wife, and I would consistently watch the news and look at each other and say, well, it can't get worse. Well, guess what? The next day it had gotten a little worse. So we got to the point that in our lives where we were able to throw our hat in the ring, so to speak. And we were honored and humbled to win the election. So that's why we got into politics. We wanted to make sure that the future of this country is secure, safe for our children and our grandchildren.
And now that you're a few months into working on the Hill here, so to speak, what has most surprised you about your time in Washington?
I guess it's the attitude. You know, we were told before the election and certainly during the campaign that, well, you're going to be able to, or you'll come up here and not get anything done. There will be such a partisan split that you'll literally be spinning your wheels. And what we found is nothing's further from the truth. Even people on the other side of the aisle, they're good people. Now, we may not agree ideology-wise on some issues, and that's okay. That's what I think the Founding Fathers wanted, was debate. But the good surprise is that both sides of the aisle have good people. We want to work with them, and we just want to move the nation forward. Again, success in business, success in farming, ranching, forestry. I just want people to make money, because if they do, they hire people. And those people that they hire, they pay taxes. And the wheel spins in the right direction instead of going the wrong way.
Congressman Ralph Abraham from Louisiana's 5th District, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.